Car accidents and how to prove who is at fault. If you have been injured in a car accident, you will need to establish who is at fault, in other words, who was negligent. Many car accidents involve cyclists, drivers, or pedestrians who were obviously at fault, but you may not always be aware what laws were broken at the time of the accident. Here is where you need to make sure you know who was to blame and what they did wrong. You will need to tell an insurance company that the pedestrian, for example, was at fault, and you have some evidence to support this. How to prove who was at fault? There are a number of different areas that you may be able to get your evidence from. These areas are police reports, and state traffic laws. Let's take a closer look at these areas. Police reports. If the police attended the scene of the accident, it is very likely that they will have written an accident report. This is where you may find vital evidence that could help your claim. Contact your local enforcement agency and ask for a copy of the written report. Reports may contain a police officer's opinion on the accident and give details of any traffic law violation that took place. The report may also mention if a citation was issued, or if there was negligent behavior. No matter how many details are included in the report, if it shows a violation took place or that the other person was driving carelessly, you may be successful in your claim. State traffic laws. If you can get a copy of your state's vehicle code, you may be able to argue that another driver was negligent/at fault. Also known as the rules of the road, there are usually simplified versions of the vehicle available at the DMV. However, if you would like to read a copy of the complete code, you should be able to find it at your local library. If you find it, look for references to the cause of the accident, such as right-of-way or speed limits, rather than going through the whole document. If you manage to find a rule that you think may be relevant, please ensure you make an exact copy of the wording and the statute numbers so that you can accurately use it during the claim process. No doubt liability. Specific types of accidents have what is known as a no-doubt liability. This means that the other driver is at fault up to 99% of the time. In cases such as these, their insurance company is very unlikely to argue with you about it, as it's obvious who is at fault. Accidents that fall into this category are: when someone hits you from behind. If you had a rear-end collision that involved someone hitting you from behind, it is more than likely to be the other driver's fault. This is irrespective of why you decided to stop your car. The law of the road says that all drivers should be able to stop their car safely if traffic ahead of it has stopped. If it turns out that the driver was not able to stop safely, it's likely that they weren't driving safely in the first place. If you had to stop quickly and damaged the front of your car, and a driver went into your car's rear end, it is often clear who struck who. The driver who collided into the back of your car may be able to claim against the driver that caused you to make a quick stop. They may also be eligible to claim against a car that pushed them into you, but this does not mean that they are not liable for the damage to your vehicle, or any injuries you sustained. You should be aware that even if someone has gone into the back of your car, that you may be found negligent if your tail lights or brake lights were not working. In this case, your compensation is likely to be reduced as you were partly responsible for the accident. Please read our article on comparative negligence for more information. Turning left. A car that has made a left turn is usually responsible for the collision they were involved in, especially if they collided with a car that was driving in the other direction. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, but they can take place if the car that was driving in the other direction was traveling faster than the speed limit, if they ignored a red light, or your car made a left turn when it was safe, but it was stopped or made to slow down unexpectedly. This last exception is quite hard to use, as a car should only ever make a left turn if it was safe to do so. If you have been involved in a car accident and you think the other driver was at fault, please speak to a lawyer as soon as you can.